Morning guys, it's been a while since I did one of these videos. I'd like to just talk today about the difference between losing fat and toning up muscle and how you can achieve both of those goals. There's lots of misconceptions around this area of training and we've done videos on it before. Hopefully just by talking through the fundamental aspects of it a little bit more we can clear up some misconceptions and steer you towards achieving your goals a bit quicker. So at some point I think everyone has said they wanted to tone up or to tone up a certain area of their body, and generally when they say this they're talking about sort of having less jiggle in that area, less sort of softness and more of a kind of firm defined area to the body, whether that's something like the stomach or whether it's the bum and the hips or the back of the arms or whatever. Most people said at some point they would like to firm up that area. And I don't really think tone up is the best word for that. I mean, if you look at the kind of the sports science definition of tone up, muscle tone refers to the amount of tension that a muscle has, how well it stretches and how kind of tight it gets. So it's not really the right term for what we're looking for. I prefer to use the word definition because that really explains how a muscle is sort of more visible or more present there and how you can see the work that's been done in that area. So muscles don't necessarily tone up, muscles mainly just get bigger and smaller. So I've used the abs as an example, the area where people like to either have like a flat stomach or have a six pack or whatever, but this could just as easily be sort of the bum and the hips or the back of the arms or anything like that. Basically what you've got your muscle, the main six pack muscle, your rectus abdominis, and that is there and that has that shape regardless of what you've done to it, okay? It has areas where it attaches, it has areas that contract, sort of muscle bellies, and it has areas of kind of connective tissue between those different muscle bellies. And that's going to be there whether you've done 1,000 crunches a day, whether you're really good at plank or not, okay? When you train the rectus abdominis, you will stimulate a certain amount of change, and particularly if you do kind of heavier work or fatiguing work, you're going to see sort of more pronounced muscle bellies, you're going to see kind of thicker muscle there, but you're not going to change the overall shape, that's still going to have that kind of layout. So the issue for most people is this layer of fat that goes over the top that covers it. Subcutaneous fat is fat that sits underneath the skin, and obviously that sits between the muscle and the skin. So that means you're less likely to see the definition of the muscle and less likely to feel the kind of firmness there of that muscle that's been worked. So hopefully now it's clear that the issue then for most people is fat loss. It's getting rid of the amount of fat that sits on top of the muscle. This isn't the same as weight loss, so it's nothing to do with your number on the scales. Again, this is something we've done posts on in the past. We've done articles on our Facebook page and Instagram page, so feel free to check those out. The main issue with fat loss is your calorie intake versus how much you burn in a day. And obviously if you're looking to lose, then you need to be in a deficit. This is only a slight deficit, it's not something where you want to be so extreme that you start to lose muscle as well. I think the kind of recommendations that a nutritionist would give you is a couple 100 calories a day, maybe something like that. The way that you increase the distance between your calories in versus calorie out is obviously by working out as well. And people tend to assess the value of a workout by how many calories you burn in the session, which is normally why things like cardio classes and aerobics classes are very popular. And that's fair enough, but a lot of people overlook the benefits of weight training and that it not only burns calories while you do it, but by then stimulating some kind of change to the muscle and some kind of muscle development, you also increase your resting metabolism as your body works just to maintain that muscle mass, and it requires more fuel to do that. So it really pays off to have a bit of both in there at the very least. There's a pretty useful analogy for that I'm going to try and give you now. So imagine for a second that your body and the amount of calories you eat in a day is like a bank account where you've got to spend money as consistently or as quickly as possible. Okay. One way that you can do that is to go on a big shopping spree and spend as much money in one go as you can. But if you were to do that, you'd probably find that halfway through your big shopping spree you'd get a bit tired maybe. Basically you get to the point where there is a limit to the amount you can do in one big splurge. On the other hand, imagine you were taking out lots of direct debits where you could just sit at home and the money would go out of your account on its own, and the money would be spent that way without you having to go out and do a shopping spree and rush around and do all of that. So that's really kind of an analogy. Sort of obviously the shopping spree is more based around the cardio type workouts where you're looking to burn as many calories as one go, and the direct debit is the kind of weight training where you do the work, obviously you work hard, but you get more of a kind of long-standing carryover from that. So obviously deciding which one of those is better is quite simple. Obviously it's a combination of both. I'm not saying you should never do any cardio and never including in that work in your training, but you're going to get a bigger investment from spending the majority of time with weight training. So in summary, as much as a lot of people don't want to put on muscle when they're doing their training to tone up, it does involve having more muscle and less fat. That is the simple explanation for what muscle tone is. Both reducing fat and gaining muscle are benefited by weights, whereas obviously when you just do cardio, the main thing you're going to do is burn calories and maybe drop a bit of fat. So if this video has inspired you to get started with weight training, this is how I would recommend you do it. I would start with heavy compound exercises, so getting the best bang for your buck in terms of large multiple joint movements, and I would train those at quite heavy weights, so you can do about 4 to 8 reps, so you really kind of stimulate some change in the muscles. Then I'll move on to sort of more targeted areas, sort of single joint exercises like triceps and stomach muscles and hip muscles and glute muscles and stuff like that, and I'll do those for much higher reps, sort of 8 to 12 reps, maybe even up to 15. And then if you really feel like you need to do some cardio, then I would stick something at the end of that session there, but I would keep it minimal because you've done the main bulk of the work with the weights. Alternatively, do a circuit type session. The way I would normally do this is you perform all the exercises with no rest until you get to the end. And again, I will start with the heavy work and then work my way around with lighter stuff, maybe throwing a bit of cardio there, but it's much briefer.